Just being able to look back on, where I was, wanting to commit suicide to now winning in the Australian Open. Like, I'd rather have that thought process at like a breakfast rather than coming out of a nightclub at 6 a.m. because I'm super proud of where I've come and who I am today. I feel like I've got so many strong messages and things I can teach people. I look back at my career and my life and everything I've gone through. I look at it kind of like a big tower, and I feel like if you take one little block out or one little brick out, it's just everything falls to pieces. So I don't regret anything, honestly. I don't. I think if I just focused on tennis and my body and not giving to people, and I feel like I would have for sure had a better tennis career. And I don't regret that one bit because I feel like my happiness comes from helping others. I just feel like I've been through so much, and I feel like I'm able to stay more composed. I'm more just proud of the way that I've bounced back after everything, honestly. Like, I've been in some really tough situations mentally and in some really scary places. I just know that, everyone is just really dealing with something. And I feel like I never judge anyone anymore because I've just done some terrible things. I've done some dark things. I've been through so much that all my goal is now is just to guide through people that shit, because it was brutal for me. Like, it was so hard. I felt so alone, and obviously to the point of self-harm and thinking about committing suicide, it was tough. Like, people our age, they really struggle to like open up about just how they feel on a day-to-day basis. Like, and I was a victim to that. Like, I was Nick Kyrgios, who was 23 years old, who was like dealing with mental problems. I think society's kind of built that image that we got to try and act like we're okay all the time. You feel like you're not enough at times. I think people didn't really realise. They only saw the Nick Kyrgios around Australian Open time, or when I was on court having success or training. They didn't really see the dark moments that I had with myself and the problems I was dealing with. And I was going through some tough times, and I feel as if so many people have actually appreciated me opening up to them. Yeah. And especially males in general. Like, I think around this time, almost they feel weak if they're feeling mental struggles, or it kind of makes them feel less of a man, but I don't think that's the case at all. Some people deal with it better than others. I feel like I just mentally struggled so hard for like the first 6-7 years of my career. Like, I had great results and shocking results, but I just felt there's so much pressure. There's so much like anxiety, pressure to do things or achieve things, and if I don't do well, then I'm going to do, like, it's just so much. So I feel unbelievable. Like, I'm 2 beers deep. And I looked at the people closest to me and how much I was letting them down, and I didn't want to do that anymore. And then, I don't know, I just tried to just look at my career, and I was like, I feel like I've got so much left to give to the sport. And that's it, I just trained hard. I just put my head down. I was like, look, let's just get in shape. Let's get in better shape first of all, and then let's see like how it goes. It's easy to train, it's easy to wake up obviously when things are going great, but I just was really sick of just letting people down, and I don't know, just feeling like that. I feel like I'm making people proud now. I feel like there's not as much negative things being said about me. Like, I just wanted to turn the narrative around almost. So that's basically it. I just was feeling so depressed all the time, and so like feeling sorry for myself. I just wanted to change that. I'm not thinking about lifting a trophy or making semi-finals or making the final. I'm just thinking about my habits every day, just trying to, put in a good performance on the court and then put in a good practice sessions, try and stay positive. I was just really sad. Like, I wasn't able to. I feel like when you're in that position, you want to share it with the people that you love the most, and I just wasn't able to do that. Didn't have a good relationship with my mum or my brother, and I felt tense with them. I was going into my own house, and I didn't really feel like I was part of family, and that was the hardest thing for me. I was like, I only ever wanted to start playing tennis and doing all this to actually share it with the people that I wanted to, that got me there. I'm not a person that, I know hundreds of athletes who don't give back to the community. It says nowhere in their contract that they have to do that. And I take it upon myself to go out daily and try and help. But I think just daily habits and the people around me. I've got an incredible support crew. In the closing moments when I look at them, and there's a million thoughts racing through my head. Like, people won't understand how many thoughts actually are running through your head in that moment of time, especially for me, because I just think about everything prior to leading up to this moment. And I'm talking years of things that are racing through my mind. So when I look at them, it just gives me that, even if it's 1%, 2% of stability in that moment, it helps. So, like, they deal with a lot of shit, that's for sure, from me, but they always support me, which is it just goes such a long way.
I just feel like I'm playing for a lot more than myself. You know, I've just got a lot of people, a lot of support, and on the flip side I got a lot of people doubting me and trying to bring me down all the time as well. So I'm playing for I've got a lot of motivation, you know, in the back of my mind.
I feel like that's a common struggle, is like in just society today, people are always just trying to be something they're not. Like people will literally put more energy into like an Instagram post or, you know, a Snapchat than that literally like job every single day. And I see it every day and I'm just like, I want to say it, but I don't want to intrude. And I feel like people are just trying to impress everyone else, and then they get home at the end of the day and look in the mirror and they're just like, it's just a big front. And it's just like, I'm just so comfortable in my own skin. It's a scary level of freedom. Like that's my message. Once you're really comfortable in your own skin and you're doing what you want to do and you're successful and you're turning heads and people are taking notice, it's a dangerous level of freedom. Because it's so easy to be, you know, attached to technology and seeing everyone's opinion on the match or highlights or anything like that, but I feel like I'm able to really switch off from that, and that's a big part of my growth, I think. I feel like once you get in that cycle of just, you know, drinking and drugs, just things just pile up, man. Like that was the biggest thing for me. Like once I stopped doing that, everything kind of just fell into place. I was able to think clearer and just really get my life back on track. I just take nothing for granted anymore. Like now I wouldn't trade that for anything. The ability to help and give people confidence is insane, and to get out of spots where you don't want to wake up, you don't want to, you know, go to work, or you feel, you know, as a kid I was extremely overweight, got bullied, obviously being coloured wasn't easy. You know, I just feel like I've overcome so many challenges that I can get through anything. I've got some really thick skin now and I can just really help anyone. That was my main goal. Like that was everything I was focusing on every day. I got the platform to help so many people, and it has, like I would just felt guilty like not using it and not teaching the younger generation. Like there are times where I cross the line, and I'm not going to say that, you know, I've always been a good role model for kids watching. Like sometimes I do cross the line, but that's just my passion, that's just my emotion. But to everyone right now, it's like, all right, you can go have a night out with your friends for sure, like embrace it and enjoy that time, but I would just stop all the other stuff immediately, to be honest. It's going to put you in a hole. You're not going to be able to think clearly, and it doesn't better you at all. Like I know it's easy to say it, but it really doesn't better you at all. Like I've had this conversation with my girlfriend, like if we have kids, like I'm not letting my son or my daughter go out and waste time and, you know, be peer pressured into doing those things that they lead nowhere. They lead absolutely nowhere. And I feel like if you want to, you know, strive for greatness or do something outside the box, you can't be doing that stuff, for sure, 100%. You can tell yourself you've been here before. You know, the confidence and the belief in yourself, that only comes with achievement. You know, I've obviously met a lot of amazing people this year who have just given me extra motivation, and, you know, to find people that finally have my back and that I just love being around, and they just want to push me to be a better person and to be a better tennis player. They realise that I'm immensely talented and I have I feel like a lot more to do in this sport.